So hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Langchain, Dart implementation. We are going to see how to build a Flutter app that will help us to do some document summarization and also talk with our documents. So first of all, Happy New Year, everyone. So Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that this new year will bring you everything you want and we will reach in all your projects. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Eckarath. So I'm principal solution architect as a freelance. I moved in Montreal, now it's been 1 year ago. And working as freelance. I'm still working for a French company for now. I'm looking to see if in Montreal there is some activities for me. I'm mostly working with the cloud now, so I'm a serverless fan, and especially on GCP. So let's go. So last year, now 1 year ago, ChatGPT has come and GenAI has been generalized for everyone. So a lot of people has been taken by storm by GenAI and LLM. So now with ChatGPT, we can ask everything. He can help us to do a lot of tasks. And we start to see most of the enterprise try to have their own GenAI in their company. So the most feature that they want, the issue they have now with LLM, is that LLM is based on the global knowledge. So each time you ask a question on LLM, it's going to grab all the knowledge that you have. He cannot speak specifically for you as your point of view or on your documentation because he has a base knowledge. So one of the main feature that has been common with GenAI now is how can we use LLM to be able to talk on our own data. So the main issue that we face to do this with LLM, so it's the last because it is the global knowledge that LLM is supported, so it cannot talk to your custom data. The second point is also that you need, in fact, to tailor the application to your own domain, which needs some ML expertise to do that, to fine-tune, in fact, all the LLM to be specific to your own data. And the third point, that's if you want to use LLM, for example, if you want to pass, because you could do with LLM summarization text or to be able to chat with your own data, but you have some token limitation, because when you ask to LLM, you have a limit size of the context and the text that you pass to LLM, then it can answer to you. These limitations are pushed every month. Every month you can push more and more data, but more data you are going to have, you want to process, more is going to be struggle in terms of performance, hallucination also, because it's going to mix the data you have passed with all the knowledge base that he had. So that is the main difficulties that you have to adapt GenAI in your own data. So the solution, there's two solutions for now. The first one is one I talked before. Is just you can fine-tune or pre-training your own LLMs with your own data, but that's very difficult because you need to prepare all your data sets, you need to train your models, and it's going to cost a lot of money and engineering efforts. The second one, it's very popular for now. It's using a RAG pattern. RAG is for retrieval augmented generation. So it's a pattern that will help you to use a standard LLM like OpenAI, but with some techniques that will allow you to use your own custom data and pass it through the LLM. So the key benefits from the RAG that you don't have to re-implement your own LLM. You also will be able to have accurate responses because it's going to use your own data to push to answer to your question. in terms of effort, is you're going to see that we have some framework that will help you to build this RAG. And yeah, that's it for this one. So how does a RAG working? So first of all, you have an user who is going to use an application to chat with. This application is going to chat with your RAG engine. So it's here that the RAG is going to run. But first, I forgot. First, you have to insert your data. So you have your raw data, which can be a document and everything. You are going to embed it. That means that you're going to split your document and transform it into a vector. And this vector are going to be stored in the database. That means that you transform your text into some vector, which is going to be searchable after that to match a query. So once you have build your request, once you have create your embedding and store your data, your raw data as a vector in the vector database, now you can use, in fact, the RAG engine to do the GenAI specific to your custom domain. So you have the user who is going to use a chat interface. Is going to call a RAG engine. So the RAG engine is going to take the question that you ask, embedded it. So that means it's going to create a vector of it. Once you have created the vector, it's going to use what we call a retriever. A retriever is going to be a specific methodology who is going to take your questions, who has been vectorized, and looking for this vector, what are the other vector that is close to the vector that you have done. Once the retriever has done its job, it's going to return you a set of vector. You can configure all the vector that you want. And after that, so with a vector, we are going to be able to retrieve all the text associated to this vector. And then, with the prompt engineering, you are going to create a prompt with a specific detailed information that has been retrieved from your vector database. And you are going to ask the LLM to answer to the question using this contextual information. So it's going to help us to have a lot of data, to synthesize this data, to retrieve all the elements that's helping to answer the question, and the LLM is going to take this information to prepare you a correct answer. So now, how can we implement a database? So we see that we need LLM. So we have a lot of variety of LLM, OpenAI, Google, AWS, Hugging Face, which it's LLM hub. You can find a lot of LLM on it. And also we see that we need a vector base. So there's plenty of vector base on the market, like Chroma. The most known is Chroma, Pinecone, but you also can use now Postgres with a plugin, and also the search-based database also has implement a vector approach. So there is a lot of things that we can use to do RAG, and also we have to implement also the RAG engine. So to do this, there is a framework that has been published now for 1 year, 2 years ago, which is called Langchain. So Langchain is a framework that put in place all the best practice and pattern to be able to work with LLM. So it's going to help you to build application based on LLM. So this framework is specifically used in Python. So this is a primary language, and we have also an implementation in JavaScript. So what are the main modules that Langchain provide? So it's going to provide for you data connections. So data connection is going to help you to get your data from anywhere you want, so from a database, from a text, from the web, to be able to load it and to transform it if you want, and to embed this data into a vector database, and provide a set of retrievers. What it's going to do is it's just going to provide you, in fact, some interface, so an SDK with an interface, so which is going to be comments and is going to implement, in fact, integration. So it's going to, for example, for the vector base, it's going to implement an implementation for Pinecore, for ChromaDB, for any kind of vector base that you can find. based on the same interface. So what is going to be when you work with Langchain, you are going to use a vector-based interface, and you can work with any kind of vector base you want, due to if there is an integration has been done for this one. So when you have the vector base, you have also the model. So the model is working on the same. You have an interface for the LLM, so how you communicate with different LLM. You have some prompt. Some prompt is going to be some helper to help you to write some intelligent prompt. You've got chains. So chains, it's one part of important of Langchain. Is going to help you to orchestrate, in fact, how you are going to chain your logic to build your LLM. So you can, for example, imagine that you have a word process that you want to interrogate several LLM because they are specialized into specific domain. And the chain is going to help you to call the first LLM to get the first answer, to use this answer to pass it into another LLM, and so on, and to have the final result that you want. This chain is going to be very helpful in our case that when we want to do summaries, document summarization, or chat discussion with documents. You have also a pattern that's a module that is called memory. This module, most of the time when you talk with the LLM, you ask a question, he answer your question, but if you want him to remember your discussion, you cannot, because LM is just an API to send back. The memory provides you a pattern that will help you, in fact, to be able to, in a chat, to have a memory of a discussion, and each time that you have asked a question, is going to pass to your LLM all the previous answer and question that you have done. And the two last one is agents and tool. This one is a module that is going to, an agent is going to be someone, it's going to be some kind of bot, a clever bot. So you are going to define, in fact, an agent, and you are going to associate to this agent some tools. You can say that you can associate it tools that will be able to go to search to the web, a tool that be able to resolve SQL to be able to retrieve data from SQL, and you're going to say to this agent, use this tool to be able to answer my question. So you're going to ask the question to the agent. The agent is going to decompose your question and say, okay, to solve this problem that has been provided me, I'm going to use to do this. He's going to describe the step, and from each step, he's going to use the tools, the appropriate tools, to get the answer, and at the end, he's going to provide you a response. So it's some kind of intelligent chaining. It's some kind of intelligence that's going to chain, in fact, calls from a different LLM. So as Langchain is very popular, so there is a more and more community has been developed upon the Langchain. So, and they are developed their own Langchain in their loving language. So now we have a Dart Langchain, which has been published for 6 months now. It's really at the beginning. If we compare the two languages, we can see that Langchain supports a ton of LLM and loaders and embeddings and vector store. There's a lot. But Langchain, which is support not so much. For example, for the LLM, it supports OpenAI and Google. And for the vector store, we have 3 or 4 implementation for now for the vector store. So it's really at the beginning for the Dart Langchain. So for the application we are going to build, so we are going to be an application, so it's going to be able to summarize document. It could be a document that has been selected from your file, or we can pass an URL and it's going to summarize a blog article, stuff like this. And it's going to summarize to extract the key points of this document. And also we are going to be able to chat with this document to have some complement information if you want to have more details on specific topics on the documents. So following we are going to decide which technology we are going to use to do so, to build this app. So for the chat, we are going to use Flutter, obviously. Everything is going to be on the RAG engine, the retriever and the vector store. We are going to use the Dart Langchain implementation. We are not going to connect to a specific instance of a vector database. We are going to use an in-memory database that will allow us, in fact, to be able to have everything local for this part. And the only thing that we cannot, for now, at least on my machine, to do it's call the LLM and the embedding engine. So we are going to use Vertex AI for the to do the embeddings, and also Vertex AI for the LLM engine. Is it okay for everyone now? Do you have any questions?
You said was there a limitation for the vector data?
No, there is no limitation for vector data. The in-memory is going to load in your memory and on disk, so it's really dependent on your disk, on your machine, in fact. So the limitation I'm talking about is about the LLM. When you ask the LLM, you have a notion of token. Token is a limit in which you can have input and output. So, for example, you have token is we don't know exactly what is a token. It's going to be a word or a character or so on. But for example, since 3 months ago, for Vertex AI, for the Bison, for the PAM2 text LLM, we are limited to 4096 tokens, which means that it's not words, but it's a limit that you can put in input and in output. That's a limitation. So if you have, for example, a PDF of 15 page, which is going to have a lot of characters and words inside, you cannot take all the text of this PDF, pass it to your LLM and ask him to do a summarize for you, because there will be too much text, so too much token for him to be able to interpret. So now you can now there is a bigger model that can handle bigger set of token, but it's going to cost a lot of money and also a lot of computing. So not good for the environment. And that's why this RAG will help you, in fact, to synthesize information you want to have a contextual information specific on what you want to ask, which is a very restraint. You have only the necessary things that you want to ask, and ask the LM to do all the summarization and the raw phrasing and everything.
Depending on your language,
Yeah. On the language also, yeah. It's really depend on, in fact, on the capability of the LLM and how it is going to be trained and so on, yeah. Right. Yeah.
For information, the LLM you are using on Vertex AI,
yeah.
This is the Google one?
Yeah.
This is Bison?
This is the text Bison.
Okay.
I tried to use Gemini, the new one, but it was not implemented in the Dart Langchain.
Okay.
So let's see. So for the step that we see, so the first step is going to load the document and to split the document. So the first things to do is here, for example, I'm going to load a blog from a document from an URL. So it's going to be a blog text. I'm going to use a loader, which is a web-based loader, which is a specific loader, which is going to be able to extract information, all the text from a web page, and pass it as a document. And when we have this document, what we are going to do, the next step is going to split this document into chunks. So it's going to be able to split in small size, and it is this small document, small chunk that we are going to store into the vector database. So for that, Langchain provides us some text splitter. So this, I'm going to use a character text splitter. So what you're going to do is I'm going to provide in a chunk size. I mean that it's going to split my document by 80 characters, and I will have an overlap to be able for each document to have a little bit before that's going to be regrouped easily if we have a document that's a link before. So it's a way that's something that you have to adapt following your document and so on. And once we have chunk our text, then I can associate to this text, this document. In fact, each chunk is going to be associated to a document, and I'm going to be able to associate metadata. So, for example, if we are in a PDF document, I can say that for each page, I can associate the number of pages, the chunk is associated to this page of document. And that means that when I'm asked to my LLM, following the chunk I will be retrieved to be used to the answer the question, I will be able to see that he used this document, this text from this page of the document. Second point, once we have this, so we have to declare the LLM we are going to use. So for this one, I'm going to use Vertex AI. So Vertex AI, we use Langchain providers basic implementation. So base LLM is going to be our interface, which is going to be implement the interface. The method that we are going to be used mostly is going to be a predict to ask a question. And Vertex AI here, this class is an implementation of base LLM. So I declare, in fact, all my properties. So I'm going to declare how I'm going to authenticate. So I'm going to use a service account to do this, my project, and also I will have some options to configure my Vertex AI, like the temperature, like the model I want to use. I think I can use also the token, the number of tokens I want to use also. So I declare my LLM, and after that I also declare the embeddings engine I'm going to use. So the same, I'm going to use Vertex AI. So I'm going to have also the same parameters, so how I connect to the Vertex AI on which GCP project. And once I have my embeddings and my document that has been split, then I can create my vector store. So as I say, I'm going to use the memory vector store. So this one is going to upload, in fact, in my memory, in my RAM, all the document, and is going to do the embedding. So for each document, each chunk of document I pass is going to use the Vertex AI embeddings to create the vector and store this document into the memory vector store. So now what I can do. So I can do a summarized document. So I have my document who has been loaded and chunk. What I'm going to do is to summarize this document. To do so, I'm not going to use the vector database, but I'm going to use a summarization techniques, which is going to be, in fact, for each chunk that I have done, I'm going to ask to my LLM to do a summarization of the chunk. So each time I have a summarize, I'm going to add the next one to summarize the two both of us. At the end, we have a summarization of all my document. And we have some helpful class, which is a summarized chain. The summarized chain is going to do all the chaining for us. So it's a helper class who is going to when we pass a document, is going to do all the summarization of this document, and to output one is going to output one summary of all the document that you have passed. And to do that, we are going to also to pass a prompt. This prompt is going to help you, in fact, to be able to help the LLM to do correctly the summarization. So what I'm going to say to him is to do for the context. The context is going to be the chunk document that is passed, to give us a summary of this text. And I give him some other instruction that the summary has to be very short. And at the end, I will have a short summary of everything. And he's going to repeat this for all the chunk to have at the end a summary of the chunk. For the chat, so if I want to talk with my document, what is the mechanism? So the mechanism is a rack with going to be in place, and for that we have a chain who has been already been implemented to answer to this specific use case. So to do so, I'm going to use a document chain. So I'm going to pass the LLM, which is going to be used to be able to ask the question, to have the Gen AI. Document prompt is going to help me to specialize, in fact, to say to the LLM that I want him to answer the questions that I'm going to ask following the context. The context is going to be retrieved from the vector database. So the stuff document chain is going to ask to the vector database from my question what are the elements that can answer the question, and from this element the LLM is going to base this to have the answer of the questions. Do you have any questions? So now can I check? So now I'm going to check my screen. So this is the application. Yeah, okay. This is a web pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a file. Let's see. I'm going to load this one. So Alice. So it's a book, Alice in Wonderland. Okay. So you have upload the document, you have chunked the document and prepare all the chat for the conversation. And in background is going to start to processing for the summary. And also I also have asked him to generate me a key points of the book. So, I can ask some questions, waiting for the summary to be done and so on. Ah, summary has been done. So he said that, so it's Alice in Wonderland. So he has summarized, in fact, the book of Alice in Wonderland. And here, the key points, which has not been done. Because it has not been finished. Okay, so I can ask some question on the book specifically. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so he has summarized, in fact, all the book of Alice. So he has really extracted, in fact, the key points. So he have identified that it is a book. He have identified that it is some chapter. So he have organized all the information to summarize, in fact, each chapter of the book and provide a clean the main point on each chapter. So now I can ask more questions on the book. It's loading. Ah. Okay, so have I exceeded my my token limit? Yeah, that is the issue that I encounter with Vertex AI, with the Vertex AI API, that you have some limitation on the number of requests that you send. For example, to do the summarization and the key points. So you are going to call the embeddings and the LLMs a lot of times, following the chunk that you have done. So for example, here I should have the number of chunk I have. So I have 380 chunk. So that's, I think, I have done so for the embeddings 300 times. That's not an issue, but for the summarization and have done something like maybe 1,000, and I have a limit of 1,000 per minute of a call on the LLM. Maybe I'm just going to wait a little bit. Do you have the imitation? Okay, so have to wait a little bit. Do you have any questions on this? After that, I will do a demo to grab the content of an article on the web and to summarize it. I'll just have to wait at least 1 minute to get my token back.
Yeah, I have a question concerning. So we talked about hallucinations, and so what happens when you have bad information, being given by the LLM? Is there a way for, let's say, the coaching or training, or I guess for fine-tuning in some sorts, if example consistently gives you a wrong answer on a specific thing? You want to say, like, when you get, in the future you should answer like this, for example?
No, unfortunately, the main point of using Langchain or RAG is not to train or to fine-tune LLM. Mm-hmm. It's really to have some to contextualize the information, to be able to have all the content to search, in fact, the content that's going to answer your information and pass it to the LLM to reformulate or to rephrase and then to give you the provided answer. It's not going to train the LLM for you. If you really want to do so, you have to, in fact, fine-tune or to pre-train LLM from scratch, which is a law which most of the framework now allow it, that you can pre-train or fine-tune the LLM based on their model.
It means that your code can work with a different model finally, because you're sharing the parameters and the models on your code. Yeah, we can use with Langchain. We can use a Llama, for example, exactly. With hosted on a Vertex AI or Cloud. Or
And in fact, Langchain is really it's just an interface. In fact, so LLM you are going to use. So it's going to, like the talk from Nicolas. So it's just an LLM. You are going to have a few methods, for example, to be able to ask a question, to predict some questions. This is the basic interface. And after that, you just have to implement, in fact, this interface to connect, in fact, to OpenAI, to Vertex AI, and so on and so on.
Thanks.
One more question.
Yeah.
So do you see? It's kind of the continuation of my previous question. This is really loud, maybe. Do you see an integration with? Are you familiar with Dialogflow?
Yeah.
So do you see this maybe being a solution to training or fine tuning in a way via one of these tools, via Langchain or?
Now you have integration Vertex AI directly with Dialogflow. So last time I have made a demo on Vertex AI. So what Google proposed, it's a service that's called Search and Conversation. This module is based on the Google Search. in the Google search. So what you do, you create data sources. So that means that you bring all your documents. This document is going to be indexed by the Google search model. And after that, this model are going to be used by LLM to answer the questions. And you can if you want to chat, they have directly integrated this vector search base to the dialog flow. That means the dialog flow is connected to this.
What is the name of the service?
It's a Google search and search and conversation. Vertex AI search and conversation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ok. Voilà. Quand ça marche pas, on quitte et on recommence. Quand ça marche pas, on quitte et on recommence. Alors. Maybe I can show you what I'm talking about this service. So if you have no other question, I can answer it to you. Alors. Check. Up. This project. So this is this one. Search and conversation. So what you do, you create apps. So apps, you have two kind of apps. When you create an apps, you can do a search. So it's going to be able to index your document and to provide you a web interface to search something, a chat, or a recommendation engine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a powerful.
Yeah.
I'm working with a retailer, and we just tried this application. We're just giving it the URL of our website, the e-commerce website, just to make available a chat to just ask some regulatory question about the fact, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Scrap all the website, and we just got a chat for the people who are working in the shop, and that's
And for example, yeah.
just giving it a URL or document like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
For internal use.
No, don't use, but yeah.
Working in Europe, there is a lot of regulatory consideration for using LLM and stuff like that. But yes, internally, yes, we are using it.
For example, for the demo, I have grabbed some documentation on Communauto, and I have put everything in this search engine. And after that, then you have you have the chat who is ready to do chat, test agent chat. And for example, if I ask what is Communauto? So here, so you answer me following the question that I have asked. And what we can do in the response, I think, yeah, we have the link of the documentation that he found the information. So this is this one. Yeah, car sharing PDF. Yeah.
So this is
Page
like
2.
sources.
Yeah, it's a sources. Yeah, it's the sources where I find the information. Okay, so let me try to up. So I'm going to try to launch again the application. So yeah, to build this application, I have used some very cool framework that I have Discover. So the first one is a framework for the chat, so all the chat, which is a Flyer chat. It's a widget that you have just to call it, and it's going to provide you a chat. It's very configurable, and you can do a lot of things. So it's called Flyer Chat. Come on. Flyer Chat. Yeah, this one. So you have two implementations. You have one in Flutter and one in React Native. So you can use from scratch with only the interface. And if you want, you can also use it. There is an extension to use with Firebase. So you're going to set up everything and to store your message into Firebase. So it is very easy to use, and it's open source and it's free. And you can do a lot of things in it. It's very highly configurable. You can configure your bubbles, all the text. You can create your own specific message format.
What is the pricing of that?
There is no pricing model. It's open source. Yeah, it's free. Yeah. And another one I discovered also. It's just for the loading. For the loading page, I discovered this one, SpinKit, which is used to for the loading. So it provides you some animated loading page that you can use directly. So all the square that you see that's animated from the loading is used with using this one, this plugin. Let me see if it is working. So maybe we can go on The Verge, get some article. Okay. Let's see for this one. So hop. So this animation loading is provided by SpinKit. Okay. Looks like the summary has been processed. So the article is about presentation of the new Samsung, all the specs, and we have the key, the main point of the so the key features, the camera, the design, titanium, the display, and you have the price and navigability. So you have all structured information to summarize on key points. And I think I have the same issue with LLM for the chat. Okay, so we cannot see the chat, unfortunately. It was working well 2 hours ago. So I come to an end. I think that's all from me. Do you have some more questions? It was clear. Good, everyone. Okay, so I think that the next step for this, we are going to see that we are going to have some LLMs directly on board on device. Google has already announced that Gemini is going to be portable on Android, and I think Apple will announce that for the next events and their WWDC. So that means that in the future we are going to be able to do some LLM generate directly on the device without depending on the. Well, it's going to be more restrictive because on the performance of the device that you are running the LLM, but it's a good start to be able. And also you can now start to install LLM. It's working really well on the new MacBook, the M2, M3. You can install, for example, Mistral AI, which is a French LLM. So yeah, future is going to be you are going to be able to do more on local things and to roll it into your application. Thank you.